Hi Year 5 and welcome to this morning's maths lesson. Today's maths lesson is all about millimetres and millilitres. So pause the video here and write your date and title, millilitres and millimetres. Be very careful with the spellings, please make sure they are just right in your book. Okay, so now that your date and title is done, let's look at some total recall. 3 questions to complete in your book, please. We've got a question from our learning this week that you'll be doing with Mr. James. We're looking at whether that statement there is true or false. The statement that 2,400 metres is greater than 23 kilometres. And then I've got a multiplication and division from the last half term. So pause and have a go at all 3 of those, please. Right, let's look at some answers for these. So the first one is false. 23 kilometres. So 1 kilometre is equal to 1,000 metres. So 23 kilometres is going to be equal to 23,000 metres. Clearly 23,000 metres is much more than 2,400 metres. There's just not enough zeros in that statement. Therefore that is false. The symbol would need to be the other way around, showing that 23 kilometres is much greater than 2,400 metres. The answer to the multiplication was 5,865, so you needed to multiply 255 firstly by 3 and then by 20. And then the third one, the division, the answer to 126 divided by 6 is 21. So we're going to get ready by using these skills here by completing these sequences. So have a look at the sequences and try and work out what's happening each time, what's changing in the numbers. Okay, so here come the answers. Let's see if you got the same as me. The first one, we're increasing by 1,000. Every time the number is increasing by 1,000. So the missing number, 6,000, 7,000. We're going to add 1,000 and get 8,000. Then we're going to add 1,000 and get to 9,000. The next one is going to come in at 10,000. And then lastly, 11,000. Now in the next one, what's changing? Well, between 6.8 and 6.9, the sequence has increased by 0.1. It's increasing in the 10th column after the decimal point, so it's going from 6.8 to 6.9. So the next one, we might think that's going to be 6.10, but 6.10, that is going to be the same as 6.1. We know that that 0 there adds nothing to the value. In fact, when we add that 10th on, it's going to come up to 7. Just like 69, 70 comes next. Now we're going to add up to 7. We don't need the 0.0 on the end. If you have put 7.0, that's okay. It's still the same number, but we don't need the 0 on it. All right, so just 7 is fine there. And the last one there would be 7.1, then we go up to 7.2. Now the third sequence, what's changing? What's changing? There's only one gap that we can spot it. We get from 22 to 220. We are multiplying by 10. And we can see that because if we multiplied by 10 here, 220 would become 2,200, and then we can spot, yeah, look, that multiplied by 10 would be 22,000. Next one is going to then be 22,000 multiplied by 10. I'm going to add a 0 on there, and that's going to become 220,000. We are missing one at the start though, back here. Now if we want to go backwards in a number sequence, we're going to have to do the inverse of our forwards operation. So our forwards operation was multiply by 10. The inverse of that operation is going to be divide by 10. So we need to divide 22 by 10. If I divide 22 by 10, I'm going to move those numbers along to the right, the place value columns. That's going to give me 2.2. Number 3 was a tricky one there. So don't worry if you can get that one. Let's get cracking with today. Then we're looking at millimetres and millilitres. Let's look at millimetres first. Now millimetres are a unit of length. They measure length. They show us how long something is. So we can use today the measurement millimetres and we're also going to use meters, but let's put them all in a chain. We've got millimeters, then centimeters, then kilometers, and those units are getting larger. 1 millimeter, about this big. 1 centimeter, about this big. 1 meter, now we're going a good footstep for an a meter, and 1 kilometer, that's a unit that's going to be much further away, a few streets away. So, what are they worth? Well, 10 millimeters is the same as 1 centimeter. 100 centimeters is a meter. So, 1,000 millimeters equals 1 meter. This is the key conversion that we're going to use today. 1,000 millimeters equals 1 meter. 1,000 millimeters equals 1 meter. Now, in the word millimeter, we've got that prefix, milli, M-I-L-L-I. And we can spot it in our other unit for today. So 1,000 millimeters is the same as 1 meter. So what would 1,000 milliliters be the same as? What would 1,000 milliliters be the same as? It's a litre. So 1,000 milliliters equals 1 litre. Those are our two key conversions today. They're all we need to complete all of today's questions. So if we do need to convert between millimetres and metres, what strategies have we got? Well, I know you've been looking at some of these with Mr. James, so this shouldn't be brand new to you. The first thing we can do is we can use a bar model and count in metres, count in millimetres to convert. So, in the bar model, convert 5 metres into millimetres. So I want to know, what is 5 metres in millimetres? Here I've got 1 metre, 2 metre, 3 metre, 4 metre, 5 metre. Now I know that each metre is worth 1,000 millimetres. I know that 1 metre is worth 1,000 millimetres. So now that I know that that is the value of 1 metre, I can use that for each one. So I can say that the next one, the next metre, is also worth 1,000 metres. The next one is also worth 1,000 metres, and so on and so on. So once I've completed the bar, in the top one, the top row gave me 5 metres. The bottom row is going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 millimetres. So, what is 5 metres in millimetres? It's 5,000 millimetres. And I can use this going the other way as well. So here I've got 4,000 millimetres is equal to how many metres? On the bottom row, I'm working in millimetres, and each box is worth 1,000 millimetres. I've got 4 of those boxes because I'm showing 4,000 millimetres in my conversion. I know that 1,000 millimetres is equal to 1 metre. So I can say that each of these boxes is now worth 1 metre. So 1, 2, 3, 4,000 millimetres is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 metres. The other method I can use is a double number line. I can use a double number line to work from metres on the top to millimetres on the bottom. Now I'm going to fill in this one here first using my known fact that 1 metre equals 1,000 millimetres. So I've started here with 1 metre equals 1,000 millimetres. Now here I've got 3. So in my first one here, I changed 1 metre into 1,000 millimetres. Now to do that, I must have done a certain operation. Something must have happened to go from 1 to 1,000. Let's look at it in a little bit more detail. Well, I can see that my number has gone 1, 2, 3 columns up. My ones digit, the 1 here, has moved up 3 columns, and then I've just got placeholder zeros to complete it. So the actual calculation there was multiply by 1000. Right, so if that's what I did to find my first one, I'm going to be doing similar operations for all of the other ones. So the next one, 3. Well, if 1 was 1000, 3 is going to become 1, 2, 3, 3 in here, 3000. What about the next one? Well, on this one now, let's have a look at this one. On the next one, I've got the millimeters one ready in 5000 millimeters, and I want to know what it is in meters. So, going from 1000 to 1, we'll be going back the same way. I'm still going to work with 3 columns. I'm going to have 5000 now on my top column, my place value chart. But instead of going in the up direction to the left, I'm now going to move to the right because I know the number is going to get smaller. I'm going from 3000 to 3, 5000, it's going to go 1, 2, 3 to the 5 in here. 5000 is worth 5. Now you might have thought, well, yeah, I could have done that without the place value column, Mr. Walker, that was pretty straightforward. Well, that's true, but it does give us now the skill and the necessary operation to complete some slightly trickier ones. So the next one, I've got 6.6 in the meters. So that's 6 ones and 6 tenths. And I want to know what that is in millimeters. So, to get this right, I need to slowly and carefully do exactly the same as I've done before. So I'm going to move this digit 1, 2, 3 columns, and it's going to come into the thousands. Now this time I'm not just using placeholder zeros because I've got more digits to move. 1, 2, 3. That's going to come in there. Now I've got no more digits to move, so all I require now is placeholder zeros. Job done. 6.6 meters is equal to 6,600 millimeters. And the last one then, let's get ready for the last one. I've got 1320, 13,200 millilitres, and I need to know that as meters. So, moving 3 columns, always moving 3 columns today, but I'm going from the larger number to the smaller number, so I'm going to be moving to the right, getting smaller. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the 1's going to go in the tens column. The 3 is going to go 1, 2, 3 to the 1's column. Now it tells me that the 2 then, that's going to move. I'm going to get rid of this so you can see nice and clearly what I'm doing each time. The 2 is going to move 1, 2, 3 columns into this tenths column now. Now then, I don't need to move these zeros because with decimals, once I've written my last digit down that isn't a 0, I don't need to continue with any more zeros. So the answer is finished there. The answer is going to be 13.2 meters. That's using a number line. Let's apply it to a problem then. Let's see if we can apply it to a question. The Masked Singer designer needs to measure up for a new costume. The celebrity is 1.9 meters tall, but the costume is 1,800 millimeters tall. Will it fit? Will it fit? So it's telling me I need to do a conversion. The question is asking me, will this measurement here fit inside this measurement here? So they either need to be the same, or the costume needs to be bigger, isn't it? And I need to get them in the same value. At the moment I've got 1 in meters and 1 in millimeters. I'm going to use a number line. I'm going to use a double number line again. What do I know? I know that 1 meter is equal to 1,000 millimeters. 1 metre is equal to 1,000 millimetres. At the top here, I could, if I want, I could say, look, 2 is equal to 2,000. Multiplied by 1,000 each time. What I've got to work with, though, is 1.9. I could do it this way. I could convert 1.9 to millimetres, or I could convert the millimetres back to metres. Doesn't really matter either way, does it? But I need to get 1.9 into millimetres. I'm going to reach for my place value chart. One moment, please. And as if by magic, it shall appear. There we are. Let's put it down here. Okay, so I'm going to go from 1.9, and I want to take it into millimetres. Moving 3 columns because I'm multiplying by 1,000. 1, 2, 3. So the 1's going to go in the thousands column. The 9 then. 1, 2, 3. Into the hundreds column. Placeholder zeros. There. Okay, I've got my measurement then. 1.9 is 1,900 millimetres. 1.9 metres is 1,900 millimetres. So the costume is 1,800 millimetres. Will it fit? So the answer to my question is not going to be 1,900. It's not going to be 1.9. It's not going to be 1.8. The answer is going to be yes or no. Will the costume fit? Well, the answer is going to be no, because the 1,800 millimetre costume is going to be too small for a 1,900 millimetre celebrity. Okay, let's see if you're ready to go then. What I'd like you to do is have a go at some conversions here. And it's the task is to choose the correct symbol. It's going to be lesser than, greater than, equals. Your choice, whichever you think is right to go in each conversion. So you're going to need to convert. You're going to need either convert from metres to millimetres or millimetres to metres, so that you can have them in the same unit. Once you've converted them, you can decide which is bigger, which is smaller. This is your opportunity to kind of find out how you're getting on, what do you need. So have a go at these in your book, and I'll be back with the answers in a minute. Okay, so 3 metres is bigger than 300 millimetres because 3 metres is actually equal to 3,000 millimetres. Okay. 2.9 metres, well, 27,000 millimetres, that's going to be 27 metres if that was equal. So clearly this is the larger one. This one, 2.3 metres, is greater than 203 millimetres because 203 millimetres, that would be in fact equal to 2.03 metres, not 2.3. And the last one, 7,700 millimetres, that's smaller than 77 metres. This is in fact equal to 7.7 metres. Do you know, if you use your place value chart, I reckon you'd be in really good shape there. If you use something a little bit like a place value chart that you've written down, I think that's just the right strategy so you don't get caught out with any of those ones. So depending on how you did, it's time to make a decision. If you're ready to go, just like I sort of peel off in a lesson, you can get cracking on your worksheet now. Now let's have a little look at it. We've got bronze, silver and gold structured in such a way that everyone starts at question 1. Bronze, you're looking to answer questions 1 to 4. If you think you're going well, you'd like to keep in a sort of silver mindset, keep going and try 5 and 6. If you think you're confident, very confident gold for this, I expect you to start at question 1, rattle through the first 6 questions pretty quickly so that you're then ready to answer questions 7, 8, 9, 10. Gold, 7, 8, 9, particularly question 7, involves fractions of a metre. So just a quick input on that, because I know you've already done this with Mr. James this week. Let's have a think. 1/5 of a metre. Well, a statement I know straight away is, if I look at any number as 0.1, I know this is equal to 1/10. So if I know what 0.1 is 1/10, I know that 0.2 is 2/10, and 0.3 is 3/10. What would be 1/5? Well, 1/5 is going to be a fraction that is a larger amount than 1/10. 1/5 of a number is going to be 0.2. So 1/5 is 0.2. That's therefore going to be equal to 200 millimeters. What if you had something like 1 3/10 of a meter? What's that equal to? Well, the 1 is going to be equal to 1,000, and the 3/10, that's going to be equal to 0.3 of a meter, also known as 300 millimeters. So that's the kind of skills you need to be putting in gold today, just so you're aware that that is the challenge. However, if you thought, just like a little bit more of a quick recap, then stay with me because I'm going to do one more quick one before I go. Right, here's some extra ones to have a little look at. 7 meters. Okay, so 7 meters. I'm going to start with 1 and 1,000. So 7, I'm going to put 7 here. I'm going to recognise it needs to go up by 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be 7,000 millimeters. Okay, the next one, 13.4. So 1 is 1,000. Here's the meters. Meters on the top, so I'm going to put 13.4 on the top because this is my meters row. Down below, converting into millimeters. Here I went from 1 to 1,000. So let's put 13.4 into the place value chart. Let's do the same as we did when we went from 1 to 1,000. 3 moves, getting bigger. 1, 2, 3. So what's in the tens? This 1 is going to go in the 10,000s. The ones, 1, 2, 3, is going to go in the thousands. What's in the 1/10 is going to go 1, 2, 3 into the hundreds. Then all I need is placeholder zeros, and I've got my answer. 1, 3, 4, 0, 0. That's 13,400. Let's clear some space. Oops, I got rid of all of it there. Alright. And the last one, now we're working in a different way. We've now on the bottom, we've got the millimeters measurement. We've got 3,400 on the bottom, and I want to know what's going to go on the top here. So here we're going from 1,000 to 1. And remember, if we're going from 1,000 to 1, what's changed? Well, the digits have moved 1, 2, 3 columns to the right in the getting smaller direction. They've moved 3 columns in the getting smaller direction. So this one, we've got 3,400 millimeters. Let's put that one in, 3,400. And I'm going to move 3 columns getting smaller. 3 columns getting smaller, 1, 2, 3. So the 1 is going to go in there. The 4 then, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be the other side of the decimal point in the tenths. And I don't need to move those zeros. So I've got my answer for that one as well, 3.4 meters. I hope now that's given you a little bit of extra confidence to go and give it a go on the worksheet. The worksheet's over in files, as are the answers and today's challenge.